Yeah, no, I mean, you summed up so many great concepts that we can just talk for hours on. I mean, I think that what we always tell families is like what we're doing in the office is we're learning about what strategies work best for your child. But then we're teaching you how to do it because you're only with us for a limited amount of time. But you, in order for progress to be made, it isn't, okay, I talked to my doctor or therapist. It's learning, training you, and then out and about through the exposures, through community, through school, through get-togethers, through aunts and uncles, through soccer practice, through giving an order, through a store, like helping them make that progress. And so much is if the parents, I find that the anxiety really is high because they don't know what to do. And as soon as you start to train them and you role play, like, you know, walking in the office, going downstairs to the shops in our building and really teaching them the language. And actually when it's not working, you step back and say, wait, let's see how you're doing it. Make pretend I'm a waiter. Let's talk about, I just did this morning with a family I did telehealth with out in California. The weather was so beautiful there, but it's nice here today, but it was so cool. And they were telling me like, and I could see where the errors were and how they spoke to their child. So I think when they feel well equipped, when they really know what they're doing, how they're doing it, when they're doing it, and the accountability, I really find that gives them that security. Talk about the word exposure. I think that as we're talking about this is because these families have to create exposures. So parents will say, how often do we do it? It's as much as you possibly can.
Yep. The exposure, I say it's an exposure lifestyle. Like anything you can make a practice, you make a practice. And so really exposure is just, I feel like a fancier word for doing practice and practicing those things that you feel afraid of doing. And so you're exposing them, or exposing, if it's a parent with anxiety, exposing themselves to the thing that they feel anxious about, that they feel nervous about, they feel afraid of. And so it's really about this process of facing their fear. And oftentimes we do it in a very graduated hierarchical way because we see that that's often a little bit easier for our kiddos to tolerate in terms of starting kind of low and starting with something a little bit easier on what we would, there's lots of different names, the step ladder, the fear ladder, the brave ladder, the hierarchy,
the bridge,
lots
the
of different
social
terms
communication
for it,
bridge.
the bridge. There's so many words. And I think that really kind of highlights what you said, is that setting out a plan for them and knowing like, okay, I'm going to start down at the bottom of the ladder. It's going to be an easier thing. And then we're working our way up to the harder thing. I always tell families, like, I am not kicking you into the deep end. I am starting you on the steps with floaties and a kickboard and the thing between your knees and more floaties on your arms. Like, this is how we're starting exposure. And then we're slowly going to get you into the deep end where you can then get rid of the kickboard or the kicking board, whatever that's called. And really so that they know that they're going to be kind of guided into this practice, but really the more the better. So if they can make anything into an exposure, the better their kiddo is going to do. Because it's not, I think what can be hard, as you were mentioning, is just they're not quite sure. And obviously, because we've been doing this for so long, it's everything is, you can think of how to make an exposure out of anything, right? And I think for them, that's not such an automatic process. And so I think, as you mentioned, really helping them to see, like, even if like they don't want to order anything, like if you as a parent want something, if you need something, instead of you doing it, have your kiddo do it. It's just making it an extra practice for them. And so I think the more that they can do it, the easier these things become, because we know that over time, they should start to kind of habituate, again, fancy word for just kind of getting used to it. So they kind of put themselves into that anxious situation. Their anxiety is going to go up. And instead of escaping or avoiding those situations, they stay in it, then they actually see that the anxiety can come down on its own, or that they were successful staying in a situation where that anxiety was still high and they managed it. They were okay. And so, some of the later kind of findings is that really even the more that they enter into an exposure, enter into a practice, even if like our kind of traditional way of thinking about sort of like the habituation curve, like that bell curve, how the anxiety will come down, that doesn't necessarily need to happen. It's that they see themselves entering into that practice over and over and over again, and that they're successfully doing that. And that really can also help that anxiety come down over time, because they're seeing it, just like kind of that wave will start to kind of slowly dissipate over time. So I think we really just try to get them in as much as we possibly can, because it will help them feel more successful.
I often, for some families, they're like, wait, we don't go out. I order Instacart. I don't go shopping. I use Amazon. And I say that's why there's so many individuals struggling with social communication, because they're not making phone calls, they're texting. It's just over and over. And it's just, well, in order for your child or your teen, the adult we're working with, to overcome this, they need to put themselves in these situations. And we have to do it in a way that feels safe, as you said,